Hello! My name is Meerah. I am a Lorekeeper in one of the ASUS libraries, and today I want to talk about the new region in Black Desert that just came out last week, Ulukita. Ulukita, the Exalted Land, is south of Media and was once home to the indigenous Uluans, who welcomed immigrants from the kingdom of Kapua and learned about the black spirits from them. Ulukita is said to have been the homeland of Elezra, and is right next door to Ataraxian, anti-black spirit stronghold built by Rook's Mahadekya. Due to this, the Society of Equilibrium and the Secret Guards are already involved in the expeditions into the ruin. Ulukita is not a region for the faint of heart or the low of gear. The new grind spots introduced here are quite literally for the 1% of players who have hit the hard cap for GS. There are supposed to be 2 more monster zones and some actual story content / questlines coming out in the same update as the Ator shoes. As of right now, only northern Ulukita is available to us. There are only 2 grind spots actually active currently, and there are no quests. As of right now, the locations available to us and their knowledge blurbs about them are as follows. Parken Fort is the main city in the northern part of Ulukita. It is a fortress built by Neruda Shan, who led the revival of Altanova to aggressively develop the southern region of Media, Ulukita. Naturally, there are many wealthy people in the fort, especially those who are closely related to the Merchant Guild. So everything is way too expensive for the common laborers who have come to work in the south under the contract of the Shen Merchant Guild. In the desolate land of southern Media, where you can catch a glimpse of wealth and prosperity, you can also often see the dark side of it. In addition, the western district of the fortress is still actually under construction due to the hasty start of the southern development project. Directly to the south of Esparkin is Neruda Plain. It was once known as the Plain of Possibilities by the locals. Neruda Shen, who led the revival of Altanova, began a full-scale expansion into Ulukita and eventually built the Asparkan fort. On the day the fort was completed, he named the vast plain in front of the fort after himself. Charming. When he announced his intention to erect a large bronze statue in his and the Shen Merchant Guild's likeness, the workers employed in the harsh wilderness of Ulukita complained that what they were doing is irrelevant. Can't say I blame them. However, most laborers are satisfied with the work because it's in a safe area close to the fort. To the east of Neruda Plain is Katisara. These cliffs near the Junai River border post are home to a perfectly intact Ator. Its appearance was unearthed during the development of southern Media and attracted numerous scholars. At first, there was a mixed opinion about whether to give up on the development of the area due to the uncertainty of whether the Ator would awaken. However, after a considerable amount of research, it was concluded that the Ator would probably never awaken and the development could continue. Not if Elezra has anything to say about it. After the scholars left for other areas of Ulukita, the site became a kind of tourist attraction. The border post at Junai River was established under the pretext of monitoring the Ator, buried in the cliff. The complaints of Splashing Point, the otter settlement in southern Media, are never ending. The reason for this is that Neruda Shen is trying to control the waterways of southern Media and has prohibited fishing in the Junai River, where the otters have lived for as long as anyone can remember. South of Neruda Plain is the City of the Dead. It was once a city of Media's elite soldiers who had fled south to escape the tyranny of Media and the 3 Days of Darkness. They discovered the ruins of the ancient Tamalun civilization and built their own settlement on top of the ruins and called themselves Tamalunians. This would, however, not last long. The 3 Days of Darkness eventually came to Ulukita, and those elite warriors were consumed by that darkness and were resurrected as soldiers that scattered black sand. They killed all those that survived, not recognizing their own comrades. Eventually, the area would fade back into obscurity beneath the stands of the wilds. This is one of the 2 new monster zones with a required APDP of 310 and 380. To the east of the City of the Dead is Tremoran Hill. It is a strategic hub where one can overlook the Tirandor Highlands, which was the transportation center of Ulukita at one point. Occasionally, the cursed Black Sand soldiers of the City of the Dead can be seen wandering here. The Sezek mercenaries complain that they need to recapture the hill from them as soon as possible. However, the genius of strategy and tactics, Furhan, has decided to postpone the attack on Tremoran Hill, judging that the risks outweigh the benefits. Furhan's judgment is that the terrain is too rugged to receive supplies, and it would be difficult to launch a counterattack. To the east of Tremoran Hill is the Sezek mercenary camp. Tirandor Highlands was originally the central hub of transportation that extended to all parts of Ulukita, but it was an ownless land for a long time. However, with the support of the Shen Merchant Guild led by Neruda Shen, the Sezek mercenaries took control of the plateau, and it came to be called the Sezek Mercenary Camp. instead of the Turandot Highlands. In order to seize the highlands, countless lives were lost, but it became possible under the command of Burhan, who was skilled in strategy and tactics. To the far northeast of the Sezek mercenary camp is the Kermelan Wilds. It is said that the Kermelan Wilds were a training ground for the Uluans, the natives of Ulukita. They cultivated sturdy strength and might here. One day, a group of foreign adventurers from the kingdom of Kabua came to Ulukita, and the Uluans followed them after seeing them handle the Black Spirit. Under their leadership, the Uluans built the Tungrad School to study the Black Spirit's rage, with the Kermelan Wilds being offered up for the construction and expansion of the school. However, the priests failed to control the Black Spirit and left the school buried with it. But the Uluans considered it their duty to guard the remains of the Tungrad School to prevent the sealed Black Spirit from escaping, and protecting that wilderness for many years, until the 3 days of darkness consumed Ulukita, that is. To the southeast of the Kermelan Wilds is the Tungrad Ruins. Tungrad Ruins is where the Tungrad School that once researched the Black Spirit's rage is buried. Tungrad priests, who could not control the Black Spirit, eventually sealed it along with the school and left. The only one who remained were the Uluans, the indigenous people of Ulukita, who had followed the Tungrad School to its end. According to records, the Medians who came here to develop Ulukita had no choice but to run from the ruins. Contrary to the records, however, the indigenous people were nowhere to be found, and instead the symbol of the sealed school, the Pillar of Tenacity, was already excavated with monsters roaming around on the surface. When the 3 days of darkness reached Ulukita, the Uluans reached out to the sealed Tungrad School as a last resort to protect their land. The power of the Black Spirit, buried with the Tungrad School, was thought to be the only way to overcome the 3 days of darkness. They had spent a long time with the Tungrad priests, so they thought that they could handle the Black Spirit. However, the Black Spirit released from the school mixed with the 3 days of darkness and turned them all into monsters of rage. Tungrad Ruins is the second monster zone introduced with northern Ulukita, with a required APDP of 320 and 410. The eastern part of the Tungrad Ruins is home to the Tomb of Forgotten Records. When it was discovered, it appeared as if the ground had been torn asunder in search of something, perhaps a source of tremendous power hidden underground. It first appeared in the wake of the 3 days of darkness, and the Society of Equilibrium and the Secret Guards have shown up to research it. With the discovery of Ataraxian, interest in the area has grown substantially, due to the similarities of the architecture and the proximity to Ataraxian to the east. And that's it. There are a few other minor locations, but they don't have nodes or anything on the map, so I kind of left them out. Welcome to Ulukita. There is your basic rundown of the northern part of this new region. I hope that you enjoyed this or found it interesting in some way. I do think that I'm going to do a series of videos like this for all the regions. I kind of found it fun. All of this information is in the knowledge section under Topography. I hope to see you next time here in the library.